It was the high-flying corporate opportunity of a lifetime. And JB, short for Jackson Bishop Silvestri, had swung into gear in a nanosecond. Parable Enterprises had a shot at landing 2 contracts totaling $118 million with the British government. But the twin proposals had to be at number 10 Downing Street by 10 a.m. the next morning. Delivered in person, of course. And this was a case of starting from scratch. Well, there was no time to lose. From his Paris suite at the Hotel George V, JB picked up his phone and with one terse phone call, put the emergency plan into effect. Team A, 5 top company reps, was already at the home office in New York, and Team B, based in Dallas, would link up with them there. The Terrific 10, he always called them, would fly out that same evening, Kennedy to Heathrow nonstop, on Virgin Atlantic, of course, drafting the twin proposals as they went. Flight number 4 would land at 7:10 a.m., giving them time to freshen up, grab a jolt of caffeine, zip out the 100 or so pages on a laser printer for rent at Heathrow's business center, and catch a company limo over to Prime Minister Tony Blair's offices. Nothing to it. And 10 sky-high last-minute plane tickets wagered against a possible payoff of $118 million was a bet old JB would take any day of the week. Well, the Terrific 10, and these ladies were the best in the business, got on board, fastened their seatbelts, put their tray tables and seat backs in the full and upright lock position, and waited impatiently for Virgin Atlantic to get 10 minutes into its flight so that they could boot up their Pentium-powered high-speed laptop computers. And as soon as the pilot gave them the go-ahead, the fingers began to fly. 90 words a minute, proposals and flowcharts and Microsoft PowerPoint visuals with little logos flying through the screen with screeching brake noises. They barely touched their dinners. They didn't watch the movie, and they didn't look out the windows, except for Windows 98 and the $118 million report taking shape on the 10 screens. Well, just as the plane began to dip down from its assigned flying altitude of 33,000 feet, and with the morning sun barely breaking over the horizon of the Atlantic Ocean and the distant profile of the coast of Ireland, the batteries on the 10 laptop computers began to beep. The juice was just about gone. Well, this was expected. The Terrific 10 knew full well how long a battery pack would last. And they also had known that once they got to Heathrow, they had about an hour and a half where they could plug in and finish up the report before jumping in the limo. And then all at once they heard those dreaded words come crackling through the plane speakers and through all the headsets as people were watching a sky report from NBC News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing some delay at Heathrow. There's quite a stack of planes below us with the morning traffic, and Tower Control is asking us to circle. It may be about 45 minutes, perhaps even a bit longer. We'll keep you posted. What? One of the ladies from Parable Enterprises on the B team looked down at her watch. 45 minutes? That was pretty much all of their cushion. They needed that time on the ground where there was juice flowing at 224 volts. How are they going to finish their reports and get them to the Prime Minister? Are you almost done with your section? Another one of them asked her seatmate. No, she said, shaking her head. I've got to have at least another 30 or 40 minutes to summarize. How much time left on your laptop? It's out. I just saved everything and shut down so I wouldn't lose my files. I'm out too. And the young lady, Deirdre, undid her seatbelt so she could see across to the other side of the big wide-body jet where the other team was still working away, clicking along at 90 words a minute. Hey, are your batteries running out? Carol, the team leader for the New York group, gave a little shrug. Yeah, they did, but we packed along spare batteries just in case we hit a delay up here. So it's no big deal. You did what? Carol hit the save button on her document. we brought along extra battery packs. We ordered them from CompuUSA and they pop right in. That way we can go 8 hours instead of 4. Don't you have them too? Deirdre felt her face going flush. Well, no. I guess we never thought of it. Then she kind of gulped. Any chance you have a second spare? Otherwise, there's no way we'll finish our half. Well, right at that moment, the captain came on again to let them know that a landing slot might open up, but for sure it was going to make them at least an hour late, and that traffic going into London was bumper to bumper. A big groan went up from the packed Virgin Atlantic plane. Once we were there on the ground, Parable Enterprises Special Task Force, the Terrific 10, found itself now in 2 groups, the 5 with foresight and the 5 foolish Virgin Atlantic passengers who were still looking for a wall outlet. And while they looked, the A team, 5 women who had their reports complete, rendezvoused with the boss, JB, got into a long black limousine, sank into the genuine leather seats and said to the driver, "Take us to Tony's place, please." "Jolly good," said the chauffeur as he pulled onto the expressway. I guess maybe that's how Jesus would have told that story today in Matthew chapter 25. It has a lot more dusty flavor to it, with primitive lamps that go out and a wedding feast in a Judean village. But there's still a scene where someone runs out of an important resource. In the Bible, it's oil for the lamp, and where someone misses the ride of their lifetime. Matthew's version is right in the middle of a long section of Scripture running 3 full chapters where Jesus is teaching people about his own second coming and the importance of being ready. Here's the story, and it starts the same way most of his parables do. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. The wise, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. Now, let's hit the pause button already and ask, do you see the parallels? Aside from the word virgins and my very subtle choice of airlines earlier, 10 young ladies are heading to a very important event, and there's a delay. They end up waiting longer than they thought, and the group ends up being split demographically right down the middle. Wise and foolish. What made the difference? One group planned ahead and had juice. The other didn't. It was a case of being prepared. It's as simple as that. Now, this much is clear already. Being ready for the coming of Jesus isn't an automatic thing. People may debate what kind of preparation is ready, but Jesus teaches that some kind certainly is. You can be ready, or you can be not ready. And in many of these mysterious, flavor-filled, hidden meaning stories we call the parables of Jesus, a common theme shows itself. People who miss out. Not everybody gets into the wedding feast. Some are left out. No wonder our kids sing at Christian summer camp, "Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray." I guess readiness, then, is our theme and our prayer in discussing this topic, sorority girls who missed the wedding. Or in this case, computer whizzes who missed the limo. Talking about Virgin Atlantic. Back in June 22, 1807, something happened that had quite a major impact on a still virgin country called the United States of America. A U.S. frigate sailing about 40 miles out of Chesapeake Bay, in fact, the ship was called the Chesapeake, was fired upon by the crew of a British man-of-war vessel, the Leopard. Troops from the enemy vessel boarded the Chesapeake and won the day partly because the commander of the American ship, a Captain James Barron, was totally unprepared for battle. He simply wasn't ready, and the English troops came aboard. That June 22 event, just a footnote in history today, is one of the factors that eventually led to the War of 1812. The Chesapeake's commander, James Barron, later faced a court-martial and was actually convicted for the crime of being unprepared. In parable terms, his lamp had gone out, his laptop computer was dead, and two nations went to war. No wonder Jesus closes with this warning, which makes good sense. Whether you're flying Virgin Atlantic or down here waiting below for the second coming, therefore, keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour.